Welcome to the channel, everybody. Level M Diecast, bringing you some more Greenlight action as we move through this mound of Greenlight we have available. This is Battalion 64 series number 3. This is not a series that seems to be too popular, at least with the viewers and stuff like that, but it is popular with us here at Level M because we do like military stuff. Whole set of 6 in here, full sets, so we're going to go ahead and crack this open. Hopefully there are no green machines in here. I know you guys typically like to find green machines in here, but for me, I'd rather not, because if I find a green machine, that means I can't open it, unopen it, and box it for you. So hopefully there's no green machine in here. So crack open the box. Of course, it is a set of 6, and yes, we do have a little bonus at the end. So when we get to the end, we will showcase that bonus, which is pretty cool. So we will just start from the top, pull our first one out here, get rid of the tissue paper. That is our 1944 M4 Sherman tank, the quote-unquote Hurricane, U.S. Army World War II, obviously. That one looks pretty good. It doesn't look to be too much different than the previous Shermans we've seen, but obviously new deco, brand spanking new deco, so that looks pretty good. I still think their tanks are absolutely fantastic, by the way. All right, here's one that we haven't seen in Battalion yet. This is the 1939 Chevy panel truck. U.S. Army, of course, World War II. This one looks fantastic in a ambulance deco. So I definitely like that one. Very interesting, kind of a olive greenish kind of color. Kind of an odd color for military. It's a little bit on the fancy side. We have our first Jeep in the mix. We'll see if there's any more Jeeps in here. 1971 Jeep DJ5. U.S. Air Force Air Police. That one's super cool. I like that Air Force Police. That is very nice. Does have your siren on the top, your air horn on the top. Looks really, really good in blue. So, crack the get open. Ah, yes. Yes, yes. I do remember seeing pictures of this one. 1984 Chevy M1009 CUCV. It does have the Gatling guns in the back, or the anti-tank type guns in the back. Couldn't tell you exactly what those are, but that looks absolutely fantastic. It is the short bed version, which is pretty cool. I think the M1009 is the short bed. I think the M1008 is the longer bed. Absolutely fantastic. Looks pretty good. I can't wait to crack that one open. That one looks especially nice. Yep, there is another Jeep in the mix. 2022 Jeep Gladiator in U.S. Army deco. This does come with a tonneau cover on the bed. Modern camo, which looks pretty good. Does have those nice kind of off-road steelies on there. That looks really, really good. So when we crack that open, we'll take a look. That guy has a trailer hitch too, by the way. And then the last one in the mix, yes, we did survive. No green machines. I definitely prefer no green machines. 1949 Jeep Willys MB U.S. Army. This is the police. You see police there on the side in yellow, like super high fluorescent yellow. Looks really good with a brown top on there. So we'll roll our box up, we'll grab our trusty scissors, which have been through 2 million clamshells in their life, and we will just go ahead and get right into these ones. Starting off with that Jeep, Willys MB Jeep. Get the plastic out of here. Pull our Jeep out. Always got to be careful. These Battalion 64 ones are relatively fragile. So there is our Jeep. This one looks pretty good in the color scheme. It's kind of an odd color. I don't know if I've ever seen a military police Jeep in yellow, but obviously it exists because Greenlight wouldn't do it if it didn't. So details look pretty good. Does say military police right there on the bottom of the windshield. The topper piece here is removable. You can take that off. There's the bench. 2 seats inside there. Looks pretty good. Just slide the topper back on there. Sits on there kind of precariously, so might have to finagle with that later. Does come with a trailer hitch, which looks pretty good. Spare tire on the back, jerry can as well. A little bit of print on the bumper as well. Your unit number and whatnot. That looks pretty fancy. I do like this casting, like I mentioned before. It is a separate chassis. Verse is the body of the Jeep, which is very accurate. Looks pretty good. Let's take a look at our number on the bottom. 2096 is the number. So pretty average number for a Greenlight. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Moving on to another Jeep, we'll take a look at our Air Force Police Jeep, 1971 DJ5. Crack this guy open, slicing them and dicing them. Get that going. Get the clamshell open here. Get rid of the plastic. Throw that there. There is our 1971 DJ5. I do like the color blue. Looks very nice. There's your Air Force deets on the side. It says USAF on the hood. Very, very nice details on this one. Doesn't have a... The door doesn't slide, unfortunately, but it still looks really, really good. I do like the Jeep that's embossed in the back. Does have lensed taillights there at the top. Looks pretty good. Looks like we're having a little bit of a issue with some tire alignment, which is a typical problem with Greenlight, unfortunately. There we go. A little bit better there. There is the deets on the other side. Of course, this is a right-hand drive. Of course, they came in right and left-hand drives. They use these for mail trucks as well. There is your siren on the top, and the air horn looks really, really good. The top doesn't come off or anything. It's part of the casting. So take a look at our base deets. Flip this guy over. 4057 is the number. So relatively higher number. So definitely wasn't one of the first people to get this Battalion 64, unfortunately. But it happens. It is what it is. All right, we're going to switch gears. We're going to take a look at our 39 Chevy panel truck. First time we're seeing this in Battalion 64. This is not a new casting. Greenlight's had this casting for quite some time. They used to have it in the Auto... Actually, I think it used to be called Auto World line, I think is what it used to be called. It was kind of their lesser, cheaper line. Probably mid-2000s. Probably the last time they run those lines. So they were plastic bases and stuff like that. So that's where this casting comes from. There is the deets on the front. Looks fantastic. Of course, this casting is very, very nice. It is actually relatively heavy for its size, which is good. It means there's a lot of metal content in there. There is the deets on the back. It is, of course, the ambulance. There is the logo on the side. United States Army. Looks very good. It's a very interesting color. Very interesting color. I like this color, though. There is the base deets. There you go, 2017. So I guess this casting's not as old as I thought. Oh, you know what? I bet they use this a lot in running on empty and stuff like that. So, interesting. I even learn stuff new every day with you guys. It's very interesting. 2212 is the number. Flip that guy around to the correct direction. There you go. So, pretty happy to add this one. This will go along with a bunch of the Greenlight, other military stuff. And, of course, Johnny Lightning's made plenty of that 39 Chevy. No doubt about it. All right, let's get some firepower going in here. We've had enough transport trucks. Let's get some firepower going. 1984 Chevy M1000 CUCV. Get this one going. I think this is the first time we're seeing a short bed in the mix. I think every single one we've seen so far has been a long bed or has had a topper on it. So get our clamshell out of here. Slide this guy out. I was super worried about the gun. So unfortunately, the gun is fixed. So it is glued in place. It doesn't rotate at all. So the gun will stick to that side indefinitely. That's kind of a bummer. Makes it a little bit harder to display. But it is what it is. Looks very interesting being that it's a short bed. I'm not really sure how much Greenlight has actually released the square body as a short bed without a topper on the back. Because technically it's not a truck. It's the Blazer. You see the bench in the back, but that looks good. I like it. There is the deets on the front. I do like that nice big push bar on the front. It's kind of brown. Kind of looks like it's all rusted up. Looks pretty good. And of course you have those nice black gloss wheels on there that just make it look brand new. Another rusty bumper in the back. A little bit of print on the taillights. Those are not lensed at all. The camo looks pretty good. Quite a few colors on there, just a little bit of black here and there. Kind of bummed out that the guns are fixed and they're not detailed all that much, but it is what it is. It'd be nice if they were just in there with a little pin and you could just pick them up and move them as you wanted to. Take a look at our base deets on this one. Flip this guy around to the correct direction. 1808 is the number on this one. So relatively lower number, but not a very low number. Most of the Greenlights we've been getting have been pretty low, but this one's not. Pretty good model, though. So a little bummed out that the guns don't move. Makes it very difficult to display that. All right, last Jeep in the mix. fixing some stuff off the screen real quick. This is our 2022 Jeep Gladiator in U.S. Army in full modern camo. I like it. I do. It's kind of weird because we get so much stuff from World War II, but then they throw in like something super modern. But I think as time progresses, we'll probably see a lot more modern military stuff in Battalion 64 because there's just, Greenlight doesn't have enough castings to continue to roll with the World War II era kind of stuff. So, but we'll see what happens. That one was in there pretty tight. So it does have a topper on the back. Of course, the topper does come right off. It is decoed up to match the camo. But like all tonneau covers for the Gladiator, it doesn't actually connect to anything. It just sits there. But there is a little bit of a lip. So underneath here, there's just a little tiny lip, which sits just inside the bed. So it'll keep it from sliding back and forth. But if you turn the model over, it is definitely going to fall off. There is your modern deco. Of course, that does have those off-road kind of steelies. Those look super good. Kind of interesting because it has small tires on there. Usually these have been, big tires on it, lifted up and stuff. This Jeep is not lifted up, which I think is kind of a cool combination. There is the deets in the front. It does have a nice big bull bar on the front with some winch details in there. So rolling around, again, like we've seen before, the top does not come off. So it is not designed to come off. Jeep on the back, lensed taillights on the back, does come with a tow hitch. And then there is the deets on this side, and you can see they are just absolutely struggling with getting tires set on there. It's just out of control these days. It's been like several releases in a row now, especially if you guys have been watching all these unboxings. They're all having problems. Flip the Jeep around here so we can see our base deets. 4042 is the number. Again, pretty high number. Not that big a deal. We don't chase the numbers, but I do like to get low numbers if I can. Base is painted matte black, so that looks pretty decent. So not a bad one. Not a bad one. I just a little bummed out about the wheel situation, tire situation. All right, last model in the mix. This is the M4 Sherman tank. We only get one Sherman tank this time. First two releases, we did get two per. This one, we only get one, but I can tell you there's kind of a reason for that, which will be our bonus here in a minute, as soon as we get to that. So we'll go ahead and pull this guy out. I think this is one of the better tanks at this scale, especially for this price point. Obviously, there is some very good stuff. 1/72nd scale that's really good, high-quality military diecast. So this is our M4 Sherman tank. The Hurricane does have Hurricane right there on the side. You see there is print on those individual wheels in there. So Greenlight getting super intricate with that. Tracks do move. So the tracks are functional. They are stiff. And they are not very thick. So definitely a little bit worrisome to move those. But all those small little wheels in there are individual. And they all move individually. So it's a very nice detail. There is the front. You have your small gun and, of course, the turret. And then, of course, your manned machine gun towards the top. It is a rotating turret. This one is extremely tight. So just rotate it backwards. It doesn't want to seem to go the other direction, but runs full 360. There is your deets on the top. Full camo, of course. It says H2 on the side. Flip it over to the other side. Same deets. Does have your USA Army number there on the back. And then there's no prints or anything on the back or any details like that, but there is the hatch to get into the tank. Take a look at the bottom. Seems like every single one of these, we've had it upside down. 4516 is the number. So another big number, but that's not a big deal. I just, I thought maybe I'd get a little bit of a smaller number, but I guess this Battalion series has been out for just a little bit. So we're actually going to throw that tank down there because we got a bonus. So for the first time ever, we do have a hobby exclusive Battalion 64. And this particular one, this 1945 M4 Sherman tank from World War II, is got the barrage of Hailfire rockets on the top. This is more psychological warfare. This wasn't necessarily done to, be an effective weapon on the battlefield. Once they spent these rockets, they had to disassemble this and get it off to actually use the turret. So it was kind of an interesting thing. But when you had, 45 rockets flying at you when you're on the front lines, it scared the crap out of you, for sure. So this was more of, making things seem like it's more firepower than there really was, which is kind of interesting. There was a lot of that during that time. There is the deets on the back. So very interesting with this one is they don't actually have a hobby exclusive decal on there, which is kind of weird. Normally those are always on there, but this one is just kind of standalone by itself, which that's perfectly fine. But it is a hobby exclusive. You can find these at your local hobby dealers. In addition to, gotta be super careful with this one. That rocket assembly on the top is something else. So slide this guy out of there. Ooh, oh my God, it's so huge. It's so huge. So this is the exact same M4 Sherman tank we've been seeing. This is the same setup as before with your turret and everything like that. I would assume that this turret rotates. There we go. So the turret does rotate. So the problem is this apparatus was extremely heavy on the top. Now I do anticipate this can probably be removed. Let's see here. Yeah, so it just snaps in the side. So they just drill little holes in the side. So if you want to take this rocket apparatus off the top, you definitely can. But there is the markings on the side, your star markings. If you guys know what that is, please drop a comment. Let me know. Same with that. It is just matte finished green, which I think looks pretty good. Of course, tracks just like the other one. I do recommend that you rotate the tracks at least once when you crack open any of these tanks, just to get the stretch going in there. Get the other side to move a little bit. There we go. So you want to get one part of your tracks bound up. So taking a look at the base, 1943. Dang it. Man, it would have been cool to get 1945 on that number. But I got as close as I can get, 1943. So that one looks pretty good. It does rotate and stuff like that. The rocket apparatus is extremely detailed, as you can see. It looks very, very, very good. Like I said, it's just attached on the side of the turret. So if you want to remove it, you easily can. But this one is super cool. I think this is one of the coolest things for Battalion 64. And it's just a very interesting part of World War II history. Especially the fact that it was never meant to be a good offensive weapon. I'm sure that's what they originally intended it for, but in practice, it wasn't all that great. You know, the Russians pretty much had the same apparatus, but they would mount them to trucks, and it was a lot easier to bring a truck to a front line. You would launch it, drive the truck out to reload it. These could not be reloaded on the battlefield. It was not a feasible thing, but it's the military. You're in the middle of the war. You got to do what you got to do, and you experiment with what you got. So there you go. That is Battalion Series 3. A little bit of bonus at the end. Let me know what you guys think about that set. Let me know what you think about this bonus, too. That's pretty cool. I personally like military diecast. I think it's very awesome. I like to bring as much as I can to the channel, but I'll be honest with you, they don't really do all that great on the channel. But for those of you who do watch, thank you very much, and we're going to catch you next time. Level M diecast.